What's going on, guys? Today I'm making a video fully improvised. So basically I've been creating a playlist that was called daily videos. Obviously nothing was daily lately, as you could tell, but I had a bit more thought about this basically playlist where I wanted to make videos almost every day, where this playlist is for me but also obviously for you and what I will provide. The goal of these daily videos was for me, to interact more with the audience, with you guys. At the same time, force myself to make videos that aren't like fully prepared. One of my traits is obviously to be very perfectionist in some aspects. It's not even perfectionist, it's just wanting obviously to bring as much value as possible to you guys. And so each time I'll make a video, I'll make something very detailed. And I think that I need a playlist where I'm gonna talk through my mind basically, and where I barely prepare the things, and so the goal of these videos basically will be that I literally don't even know what I'm gonna talk about as I start the video, or just 30 seconds prior to this. It's gonna be a great exercise for me to try and have something that is not prepared, so the flow is also good, and I work obviously on being creative with what I'm gonna say. I think it's just a good exercise for myself, and a lot of value will still be provided. And on the side there will be other videos where obviously I will all the other basically playlists are prepared videos, so there is a lot of structure, but I really want to keep interacting with the channel and be able to publish videos almost every day. And so because I think it's important, I want to be in touch actually with you guys, and so I think that if I start going the route with I don't just do obviously videos on YouTube, I have a lot of things that I'm doing on the side, and so obviously making videos takes a ton of time, and that's why when you want to make very detailed videos that provide a ton of value, well, obviously you spend a lot of time, and by the time you do this video, you've got other things coming in the way between the personal life and the working life, etc. Well, it's hard. And so I think one of the goal with this playlist is that you will still get a lot of value, because I don't need to prepare everything very well to provide value. I think that I can still provide a ton of value this way. And so this is why I'm gonna do this playlist, and I think it's gonna be pretty unique and interesting, because as much as myself, you won't know what the subject is as I start the video. As I start the video, I'm just basically checking on my computer some videos that could be made by, I don't know, other content creators, mainly that I disagree with, for example, some concepts that I disagree with, and so I can talk about it and give my opinion. So it's kind of like the reacting videos that I wanted to make with this playlist, where I just pick a subject and I just talk about it and give my opinion. So now you kind of understand. I think that I needed some other time to understand what I wanted to make with this playlist, and obviously make videos again. And so today I think the topic is gonna be the people that stagnate in the gym. I thought about this just now. I think I want to talk about this. I think it's pretty frustrating. I think a lot of people go to the gym and they want to improve, but they don't, and it's kind of like they enter this like it's normal. At the end they just go there, and maybe they end up starting to think that they don't have a good genetics, and they just kind of are okay basically with not making progress, or they think they're actually making progress but they're not really making progress, or they're making such a slow progress. And that's when after you see people in the gym basically telling, oh well, maybe I just don't have the right genetics, or etc, but in the end they just don't use the right techniques, really the right they don't have a planned strategy, and then within this strategy they don't really fix any goals, and they don't make the actions to reach these goals basically. They like structure and an understanding of training. So in this video I don't want you to be this person. I want you obviously to be the person that goes to the gym, and that while she goes to the gym and she's gonna go many times every week for years, actually improve. Because I think the worst with the people that don't progress in this type of things, in this type of in this situation, is that they still go to the gym, and they still go 3-4 times a week, and they don't progress, but they still go there because it's a habit now for them, and they accepted the fact that they would just probably improve, but not very quickly, or that, you know, they're just kind of like stagnating because they think they don't have the right genetics, etc. So most of these people that I often see, and that came to my realization that there are some of this type of people, is that I will go, for example, you know, before I used to go to England because I lived there, so I would travel sometime back to France, and I see people that look exactly the same like 6 months later. But when I talk to them, they always talk about, oh, that's how, you know, you like, they tell me how they think they're progressing, etc. And I'm like, I don't see any difference on them. And the patterns that I realize when I look at them is that the main thing really that I see on them is that they go to the gym without obviously really knowing what they're doing, and they rely on the pump, and they change their program very often. I think these are the three things that I really see on these people. They never keep at something, at repeating the same things. You know, repetitions do make you better at something, and so in the gym it's the same. If you're gonna start doing like an exercise and that you switch after some time, where you're obviously gonna lose strength on this one, and the best thing to progress in the gym is to have landmarks. And obviously, if you always do the same exercise over time, you're going to be able to measure the progress and see where you were back then. But if you keep changing all the time, you're never gonna be able to see the progression, basically. You're always gonna be, you know, coming back to this exercise later on and see that you've lost some strength, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that the pump. People feel like they've been working out because they failed a pump. I always use this this example because that's something that I've experienced. You know, when you go take a flight and you have your luggages or you know, something that you have to carry, basically, you do get a pump, but you know, that's just a pump that you get, and it's not based on a structure and on something that you will experience again. Like, you know, carrying something around will give you a pump, but it's just basically not a regular exercise, and it's just an exercise in everyday life that will give you, you know, obviously the blood flowing towards the muscle that you're working. But over time, you know, you never measure it, and it's not an exercise that actually offers a proper stretch or anything like this. It's just that your blood is gonna go through your muscle because you're carrying it. And so it's the same basically in the gym with the people that first don't really know what they're doing. They always switch exercises, and then they get the sensation that it's working because they have a pump. So that's the second issue with these people. Like, they look for the pump, basically. And secondly, they change their program too often. So what they should do instead is focus on exercises that are regular, that are well adapted for their body morphology, to avoid injuries in the long term, and to obviously use exercises that will benefit them the best. You know, the best example for me is to say that I have, for example, big triceps, and so there's certain exercises for chest, for example, that are better for me, like flies, and bench press might not be the best for me because my triceps take over on the movement, even if I'm not basically on a close grip. And so, yeah, they need a structure. It doesn't need to be like a structure that is super strict. You just need a structure, like the minimum, you know, like you have to make this little effort, obviously, to get results in the long term. So you can't just go with the feeling. But, you know, if you have in mind the fact that you need to progress, even without a structure, if you go there and you go heavy and you always try to, like, you think about progression, it should already be better. But yeah, that's basically what I see with these people who stagnate. And one of the last things is probably eating as well. They don't pull the trigger on eating enough. So obviously, They focus on the pump, they don't have a structure, they don't eat enough, well, they stay the same basically. But the thing that is a trap here is, I think, the feeling of the pump, the feeling that you've been working on your muscles, and it offers you, a false, basically, idea that you've been improving. So the pump is pretty dangerous. You shouldn't always just focus on the feel. The feel is gonna be there as a result of the good, exercises that you're doing, etc. But obviously, when you're going more heavier, etc., well, it's normal that you're not gonna feel the pump particularly, because when you go heavy, obviously, you don't have time basically to drive, blood in your muscle, like it's just small reps. So, but it will come towards the end of the session if you start to do a bit more hypertrophy, etc. So that was the video for today. Just obviously trying to improvise this little subject, and obviously we can say that it was more around the pump and the fact that you shouldn't focus on the pump, and at least build a small little structure, and most importantly also thinking about progression, and that the weights need to be heavier over time, that there needs to be some sort of progression that you need to calculate. Basically, you need to have landmarks, and whether you progress in terms of repetitions or in terms of the weight going heavier, which can kind of come back to the same, because if the weights are heavier, then you will be able to do more reps with the previous weight that you were using, and if you can do more reps, usually you can go heavier. So it kind of goes together, but then there needs to be some sort of progression that you really need to think about. And I think that these people that stagnate in the gym that I see kind of working hard, unfortunately that's the worst, kind of working hard but not on the right things. They're just wasting time basically, but they're making the effort to go to the gym 3 times a week, which must be pretty tough to swallow, and then you become annoyed at not getting results and seeing other people getting results doing the same effort as you. So if you're in this case, I really hope that you listen at least to this small advice that I have. Focus on the basics, think about progression, eat enough if you're a skinny guy, a little surplus, and that's basically it, And I will make another video next time, probably a reacting video, where I will literally, it will probably be more about controversy, where I'm literally going to react to a video that another content creator talked about, probably without mentioning the person, because I don't like the drama type of things, and it will never be a thing on my channel. So I think it will be interesting, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time, guys. Take care of yourself and make great gains.